Hi, everyone. It's Professor Hall. Welcome to week 2 of the Golden Age of Children's Literature. So, this week you will be starting our first book, Alice in Wonderland, chapters 1 through 6. And we are especially looking at some of the things we talked about last week and now applying them to this novel. So, just to kind of recap, we talked about how early Victorian stories reflect this rigid, kind of hierarchical view of childhood. It's shaped by class, it's shaped by religion and morality, and now we have some emerging psychological theories here at the very beginning of the golden age of children's literature. So, a lot of times at that point in history, wealthy children were raised by nannies. The girls that the author is specifically writing for with this initial story, which I talk a little bit more about in my lecture, they would have had quite a bit of help. So meaning they probably had nannies come in. They had a drawing master come in to teach them drawing. They had a dance master come in to teach them dance. And we're going to see some reflections and some satire of figures like the drawing master and like the dance master later on in this book. So people who were less wealthy, the children would need to work and contribute to the household income, right? And so in this era, we have this beginning of progressive ideas about compulsory education, about the end to child labor, and we have at the same time a romanticization of childhood, which emphasizes innocence and imagination, and a lot of this is going to be seen in Alice in Wonderland. So, we also talked about how authors of the earlier period were sort of moralizing and didactic. What I want you to see for this week is like Lewis Carroll is using a lot of irony, a lot of satire, a lot of jokes that would have been funny to Victorians that I sort of explained in my lectures. But he still does, I think, have a lesson. It's just a different one than what was taught before. And that is what I'd like you to think about this week as you look at Alice in Wonderland. So that's it. I can't wait to see your thoughts. Thanks, everybody.